Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Protocol Pegasus here, up back to you guys in Remnant from the Ashes, and today we're taking an all-new look at the build known as the Soul of the Sawed-Off Bandit. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright, so let's jump over into the character sheet here. So for the handgun, I'm using the Sawed-Off with the weapon mod attached onto it known as the Very Good Boy. From there, I'm using the long gun known as the Chicago Typewriter attached onto his weapon mod known as Seed Caller. For the melee weapon, I'm using the Scrap Sword. For the helmet, I'm using Cultist Hat. For the body, I'm using the Scrapper Body Plate. For the boots, I'm using the Bandit Trousers. For the necklace, I'm using Soul Anchor. For my first ring, I'm using the Root Circlet. For the second ring, I am using the Soul Link ring. Now, on to traits. The three primary traits I recommend throughout the course of this build are going to be as followed. The first trait is going to be Warrior, which increases melee damage by 20%. My second trait is going to be Spirit, which increases mod power generation by 25%. And my third trait is going to be Swiftness, which increases movement speed by 15%. Now, taking into consideration, since there is no cap level within the course of this game, I highly recommend going for every trait within the course of this game just to make yourself that much more adaptable and acceptable to any form of encounters that you might come across thus far. Now, with all that being said, before we go ahead and jump into some gameplay, I do want to give a quick shout out to one of my subscribers. I believe it's pronounced Jodler0815. He was actually the one that gave me the idea for this particular build. I did change it up a little bit, so Jolly, if you are watching this, let me know what you think about it, buddy, right down below in the comment section, and this one is going out to you. But besides that, let's go ahead and jump over into some gameplay. Alright, so we're playing on ROM here on Nightmare mode. I'm going to go over the build a little bit as opposed to why I picked what I did and my overall thoughts in regards to it. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So one of the reasons I ended up going with the Sawed-Off as my sidearm is just because I think it's a really kick-ass overall shotgun. Just to have in the back of your pocket, just being able to pop people in the face really quickly is really nice, and to have a little bit of close range to your combat, I think synergizes really nice with the actual typewriter. Plus, I think it also makes for a really nice synergized weapon when it comes to utilizing the melee minions, because if I happen to run up on somebody, I can pop them in the face with a shot-off shotgun, and even though it doesn't end up killing them, it will drop them low enough for my minions to just run in and clean up, and it works really, really well. The reason I ended up attaching the weapon mod that I did to it, known as the Very Good Boy, is because of the fact that I wanted to build this whole build around the idea of being able to summon a bunch of melee-based minions and capitalizing on their overall potential, whether it was the damage output, the base survivability I got off of from them from dealing the set damage they did, whether it was the fact that it allowed me to go about clearing a room or just rolling up with a squad of minions and just having them murder anything they happen to see in front of them. It just ends up working out really well, and one of the reasons I ended up picking the dog was because it was the only other melee minion I really had accessible to me, so I just went with that. Plus, what's also really cool about the dog is that if I end up petting the dog, which I didn't do in this video sadly, however, if I do end up petting the dog will give me passive health regeneration, which will go about passively healing me. So it just ties into the whole healing concept throughout the course of this build that I end up receiving from the ring known as Soul Link. And if you guys already know, with a lot of my previous other builds, when I happen to do sub builds, I'm a huge fan of the Soul Link ring. I think it's a very, very underrated. It's a fantastic ring at the end of the day, and I think a lot more people should be utilizing it just because the overall survivability you get from this ring is just absolutely ridiculous, and it just makes it a lot more fun just to know not only can you roll up with a squad of minions, but literally continuously heal from that set squad of minions, so it works out really nice. The reason I ended up picking out the Chicago Typewriter was just because of the fact that I wanted something a little bit different. I think it plays really well to the overall theme that I was going with the course of this build. I think everything looks nice and synergizes really well, and I like the typewriter. I think it's really cool. Not a lot of builds have the typewriter in it anymore, so I figured why the hell not, give it a shot, and I think it worked out really well, just because it gives really nice mid to close range overall damage output, and even though it's not as accurate, and you end up losing out on a little bit of ammo reserves, I ended up substituting that out with the bandit armor piece, so I instantly go about replenishing my ammo, or saving my ammo reserves rather, by like 10%. So from there I don't run out as much bullets when I'm using the typewriter. So it works out pretty well. I don't really find myself having to deal with any form of ammo issues or any form of range issues. At the end of the day, it just synergizes really well, so I don't have any issues or complaints with it. It honestly all synergizes really nicely. The armor set all looks really nice together at the end of the day. I went with the one-piece scrapper set just because it's more melee base orientated, and I went with the one-piece cultist because I wanted the passive mod regeneration, so I think it pans out really nice. And in regards to the rings and trinkets that I ended up getting, such as the soul anchor, the root, I believe circlet, and the soul link ring, it all just ties into the overall summons that I happen to be utilizing, just being able to increase the overall damage output, the survivability, and the sheer potential of what these summons can do, as well as being able to bolster my overall potential to make sure I can kill stuff and stay alive. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the build right down below in the comment section. But if you guys haven't already, hope you have a really good day, and hope to see you guys real soon. Later.